Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the 13th Floor Podcast. I'm Cece.
I'm Alex.
I'm James.
And thank you, James, for taking the lead there. Alex didn't have the Riverside recording thing open, and so I had no idea if it had started recording or not.
I see.
Yeah, so Alex, next time make sure it's up there so I can see the numbers. If I don't see that 5-second countdown, I'm lost. I'm scared.
That's the general state of being lost.
James, listen, how have you been?
I've been good. It's been really, really cold and gloomy here, which I think is perfect for what we're talking about. How about you guys?
It hasn't been cold and gloomy here, but I will say I'm very excited to be talking about Antarctica today.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It is. It's a very cool topic. It's something that I'm nervous about.
Oh, chill out, Cece.
I know I need to chill out. All right, well, listen. Alex, what have you been up to?
I have not done much. I'm getting ready for the holidays, is what's happening.
I think he's...
Getting mentally prepared for the exhaustion that comes with the holidays.
Yeah,
Goodness.
we look forward to the holidays every year, obviously, but we have to travel very far. And so I think that it comes with also just like we got to travel around the world again. So we're excited to see the excitement in our children's eyes when Santa Claus drops off all of his presents and, all that stuff. But, man, I wish we didn't have to drive so far to do it.
It's a good time.
Yeah. What? By the way, what are you playing, Alex? Like game-wise?
Oh, my gosh, James. Like, everything.
Arc Raiders. I'm still playing Marvel Rivals. Quite
Fortnite.
a bit. A little bit of Fortnite. I dialed it back a little bit. I only played it for about a week and a half recently, but I have to say, whenever I go in and play it, I'm like, man, the shooting is really good. But Arc Raiders is that
to get
too.
Me into it, and I couldn't.
It improves every time I play it, and I play it like every 6 months or so. I jump back in and see what's going on, and it's a good time. But Arc Raiders is the new hot thing right now, and it's very good.
Well, I sent you guys a picture of. I just thought it was a good time to mention it because of what we're talking about, and it's talking about holidays and all that. On a lark, I got this cozy game on Switch called Winter Burrow, and I just thought, this looks kind of cute. This will be something to play when I'm, not serious about stuff. And it's super cozy. It's super cute. It's only like 10 hours or something. But what I wasn't prepared for is the suspense. Like, I really recommend this game, as weird as it sounds. It's like Wind in the Willows meets, I'm trying to even think, like just The Revenant. It's The Edge. Because there's a meter for getting cold because it's winter. And as it runs down, frost forms on your screen. And your little mouse starts hyperventilating. And if you get lost, like their health bar starts going down and like you can't see as well because of the frost and it starts blinking red and vibrating. It is harrowing.
Not the cozy game you expected.
It's not something I expected, yeah. But fantastic though.
That's cool. What's it called?
Yeah. Winter Burrow. And yeah, it is a very split personality game. Like 1 minute you're delivering pies to a toad or something cozy, and then the next minute you're like lost in the woods getting attacked by spiders and your little critters hyperventilating.
You reminded me, I forgot, I don't know why it reminded me of, I was also playing Mario Galaxy 1, because they re-released them and the kids got it for me for my birthday.
Aww.
And then I was also playing Hollow Knight Silk Song, but I'm just kind of chipping away at that one slowly.
So many games.
That was fantastic. That's my favorite one this year, I gotta say.
You guys.
You played all the way through it already?
I got through like halfway through Act 3, and then I took a break, and I'm still on that break.
Yeah, it's really good. I took a break too. I was like, I just got to a certain point. I'm like, all right. CC's like, I'm tired of this.
I'm gonna go to sleep while you guys talk about games because I have no idea about these games other than the fact
that leads me to our icebreaker then, because we are talking about Antarctica. What is your most iconic winter memory?
Iconic winter memory.
James, you go first since you came up with the question. I imagine you have an answer on the top of your head.
I do. I remember one time me and my friends went sledding. We were probably like 14 or 15, and it was a really steep hill. And again, teenage boys are dumb. And so 2 injuries happened that day. On one occasion, one of my friends went on one of those picnic tables, basically, where with the legs collapse. So it goes really fast and struck me. And I know I had a hairline fracture in my leg that was untreated. I was just like limping for 2 months, basically. And that same friend then struck a tree stump and tried to sleep in the snow because they were concussed. And I don't think either of us got treatment for our injuries. But when I think of winter, I think of that fateful day of being reckless and self-destructive in the snow. It was fun, though.
That's a Kentucky winter.
Yeah.
If I have heard of it at all. I personally have a couple of winter memories that I think are very near and dear to my heart. And one of them is very similar. There was a huge, I guess, two snowstorms, but one of them was mostly snow. And I just remember my dad piling a huge pile of snow from our driveway. And it was like a mountain, and you could climb on top of it, and it was absolutely wonderful. And that was really fun. We also had a neighbor that lived next to us, Mr. Cobb, and he had this huge hill, very steep hill. I don't think it was quite as dangerous as the one that you mentioned in your story, James, but we would build ramps and just go sledding down that for hours. And it was wonderful. But I also remember the ice storm that happened. I can't remember the year that it happened in Kentucky, but I remember we were at a hockey tournament for my brother, and we drove into town, and it was just like something out of a movie. Like all of the trees were bent over. There was no power anywhere. We had to drive like 2 miles an hour up the road to get to our house because it was so icy. So that was wild. But on a more positive note, I just have this very nostalgic feeling hearing our radiators in the winter making that little kind of noises that they would make, because we had like the old school radiators in our house. We would drape it's very unsafe, but we would drape blankets over them in the winter to warm them, and then put them on us to go to bed. Put my towel over them. Yeah, don't do that. No, don't do that. PSA. Not smart. Not smart. But we did it when we were little because we were stupid. But yeah, no, I remember just the little noises and hearing those noises, waiting for Santa to come and listening to the radiator. That is like my iconic childhood memory. Alex, what about yours?
In terms of childhood, I think one of mine was we were going sledding down. What was it called? It was called Death Hill. And it was by Western's campus. So if you know anything about Western, it's all on a gigantic hill, and there's some big slopes and stuff on it. And so I tried snowboarding on it, and it went okay. But part of the hill was you went all the way down, and then very quickly you hit a road, which was covered in ice, and then you continued to go down. I had a severe wipeout, and I definitely did something. I did a severe sprain on my wrist. I remember that was the first time I had like one of those injuries where you're like, "Oh, this is a real one." you're like, I can't like do anything. Like my hand is completely useless for like days.
Wow, it's funny. We all did sledding /injury memories.
Well, I didn't get hurt necessarily.
Yeah,
but
you just nearly burned yourself alive, but
yes, that was foolish of me. But you know what is not burning up, and that is Antarctica. Are we ready to start talking about Antarctica?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right, Alex is kicking us off today. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about pyramids. And yeah, I'm talking about pyramids in Antarctica, not Egypt. Not one of these other scrub places. This is where real men build pyramids.
I didn't realize that there were pyramids in Antarctica.
Well, welcome to the future. It's 2025. Time to take you for a ride.
Okay. All right. Tell me about it.
This really surged in public consciousness in about 2016, where Google Maps took some pictures of Antarctica, and people noticed in those pictures that there are some shockingly perfect pyramid shapes there. And I'm going to show you UCC, the overhead
I
shot.
want to see.
And you can actually go and look these up on Google Maps right now if you decided to.
That does look like a pyramid.
I don't know how to read these coordinates very well. Let's see. Nah, I'm not going to try. But just look up the Antarctic pyramids, and you'll be able to find it, and someone will give you some. Otherwise, I'll probably read these to you wrong. You'd be like looking for these pyramids in Mongolia or something. And I'd hate to steer you the wrong way. But if you go and look at these pictures, it is a really unusual shape to see naturally forming. Now, when this happened, everybody obviously scrambled, and this had actually been documented in the past in some books, like Charles Hapgood's 1966 book, Maps of the Ancient Sea Kings. This was a book that he wrote that popularized this idea that Antarctica was ice-free at one point and inhabited by ancient civilizations, and a lot of people took this book and expanded on the ideas, where obviously Hapgood's book is a little
out there.
It's not really based in reality, and I don't think it was intended to. But people ran with it and ran with some of the ideas when this occurred. Now, again, there are accounts of seeing these pyramids when people were actively surveying the area back in
the 1800s?
Yeah, I think it's the 1800s. I mean, there's planes flying over it for years as well. And they've been seen. But again, back into the public consciousness, 2016, we don't have anything better to do. Let's dig into this.
Yeah.
So what's weird about it is some people think that it's from a pre-Ice Age civilization or good old Atlantis. It could be anywhere, wherever you want. Atlanta is Atlantis, as they chant. They literally chant at Stone Mountain, on top of Stone Mountain.
Yeah, it's a portal.
Happened. They say it's a portal.
Earlier this year, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2 months ago. A whole bunch of people standing on top of Stone Mountain going, "Atlanta is Atlantis."
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great. Really represents this well. So obviously some people somehow think that this is related to Atlantis, which is just baffling to me. Now, I can see the idea of a pre-Ice Age advanced civilization building these pyramids and them standing the test of time. However, a little bit against that is the glaciers in the area would probably grind things into dust. Over all of this period of time now, because we think that the area has been frozen for 32 million years or something like that, 34 million years.
It's been a while.
I don't think we actually know the real number, but it's been a long time, needless to say, and the structure probably wouldn't be as intact as it seems to be. if an ancient civilization did do it. So the implication isn't that they built it in the snow. It's that they did it before it was frozen. Now, this kind of ties into Atlantis a little bit in that the ancient Egyptians or some other unknown civilization built them. So some people think that the Egyptians built them because one of the claims is that they have the same base angles as the pyramids in Giza. And that they're angled in a way that is exactly the same, so they're all facing the same directions.
That's kind of weird.
As the pyramids in Giza. The only problem with that is that it's not true.
Oh. If it were true.
The angles are not the 51, this is almost like coordinate, but a 51 degree, 52, like the pyramids. They're actually, all of them, because there's several of them, all of them are angled a little differently. And that's because they claim that these are natural formations. Some people do.
That's what they say.
That's what the man says. I don't know about this. Now, the other explanation, obviously, extraterrestrial builders. What better way to test their alien technology than to build a pointless pyramid in the Antarctic? Unless, of course, they're building a base, which, may be a good place to build. You don't get too many visitors up in the Antarctic, except for, all the planes flying over and the tourists. But it doesn't have a lot of traffic, so it probably would be a good place to kind of hang out. Another item that is from 1513 that, for some people, hold a good bit of proof that these are human-made is that there's a map called the Piri Reis map.
We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have?
Yeah.
So I don't need to go into it too much. But essentially, it's a map that draws the Antarctic coast and the area with rivers, mountains, and the map has no ice on it. Which is impossible, being that we think the ice is way older than that. But that piece of evidence that people have clung on to indicate, like, hey, like, people built stuff. Like, this stuff's only been frozen for a little while. The only problem with that is that when you actually look at the map, it turns out it's just kind of it's drawn the mountains, the Andes Mountains sideways. And so they kind of just drew the same area twice on the map, and so it was just a mistake.
It's an accident.
It's a very accurate map overall, but they did make a mistake here. Now, what's the evidence for it being organic? Well, a lot of people argue that it's because of a geological process called cirque erosion or freeze-thaw weathering. Now,
do you need to get a drink of water?
I need water, yeah.
Okay, I'll go get you one.
Yeah, my money's on erosion, not Egyptian.
Erosion, not Egyptian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be making a safe bet here. Again, it is very odd that the pyramids are kind of perfect looking pyramids, at least from a Google Maps perspective, right? However, during the geological process, again, cirque erosion and freeze-thaw weathering, this is when it's kind of really fascinating. It's when 3 to 4 glaciers they erode a mountain down from multiple sides at the same time. And when they do this, they carve these bowl-shaped, what are called cirques, in the mountain. So the mountain is actually, at one point, bigger on top than on the bottom. Because of these bowls. And over time, as things freeze and thaw and the weather kind of makes them even out, they end up actually turning into these almost near perfect triangular faces. Because of these cirques that were eroded by the glaciers. And it's really weird, but it's not the first time we've seen it. There are other mountains that, there is one. What's it called? Oh, the Horn. I can't remember.
Matterhorn?
Yes, the Matterhorn. Same deal.
I always think of Ricola cough drops, funny enough, when I think of the Matterhorn.
Yeah. But the Matterhorn is a very similar situation. And the process that is involved in this erosion I thought was pretty interesting. It's actually called pyramidal peak erosion. And that's that process over tens or hundreds of years where that little bowl erodes into that perfect smooth face. Which, again, if you look at that picture over top, I mean, there's no denying it's a pyramid. There are pictures, obviously, of other angles of it where it is a lot less convincing. Here, let me show you, Cece. I don't think you've seen these. There's still, I mean, it's still an impressive looking pyramid.
Yeah.
You know?
But it looks like the top of a mountain. It doesn't look, you know.
But when you look at it from the side, it's not nearly perfectly symmetrical. They also believe that the age of the ice cover on the mountain indicates that it's been there for a long time, and that no person built it. And again, in the 1930s, when the peak was first documented by a guy named Lincoln Ellsworth, he was looking at this, and at the same time, while he was looking at this, there was nearby camps that were seeing the mountain as well. Now, they weren't documenting the peak like he was for the first time, but they were still there. And so both of their accounts line up with seeing this thing, identifying it as a mountain and not a pyramid. And so some people point to that as being that there's no cover-up possible, because before these conspiracies came up, we have people saying, like, yeah, it's a mountain.
Yeah.
So there's no, like, government cover-up, like a potential ice wall of some sort.
Ice
or something
wall?
like that. Yeah, yeah. But the general consensus, this isn't a pyramid. It's just a really awesome feat of nature.
Alex is not a believer.
I don't believe in any civilization living in Antarctica.
You shut your mouth, boy. I'm going to talk about the ice wall,
Oh.
where some people do think that beyond it lies other things. So, my hope is that today I will not draw a 1-star review like Alex did. Because this does...
I made fun of Flat Earth.
Yeah, this does have something to do with Flat Earth. If you guys want to
Yep.
leave us a nice review, by all means, find our podcast on Apple Podcasts and let us know what you think. But, if you're not happy with it, you don't have to do that, But anyways, this theory proposes that Antarctica... Do I say that weird?
Yeah, you did.
I feel like I've been saying it weird. Antarctica
Yeah, you
is
enunciated
not...
every letter.
Antarctica.
Antarctica is not a giant continent at the bottom of the Earth, but rather like a massive circular ice wall, and it's surrounding all of the oceans and all of our continents on the inside.
Is it always flat Earth?
It's holding, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes
Essentially,
sense.
it's flat Earth, but it proposes that the ice wall is holding all the water in. It's kind of like a bathtub, yeah, just like a flat old bathtub. But when I hear or see things about this theory, it fascinates me because there's so much evidence that the Earth is round. So when I see this, it makes me think.
evidence.
Makes me think about all this stuff. So where did the theory first arise, Alex?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
It's not as old as you would think.
I was thinking like probably 20th century.
Yeah, no, it's not that old. Primitive maps really, there were primitive maps out there, like the one that you mentioned, the Peri Reis or whatever it's called map. But there were other ones that had, we don't really know what's out there. We think there's something, but
Here there be dragons.
yeah, there's stuff out there. And it makes me, I think that one thing digging into this made me really appreciate is just the art of cartography. So if you stop and think about it, there were people hundreds of years ago that just got in a ship and they sailed around land and they drew a line to what they thought everything looked like.
It is pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. If you gave me a decade, I couldn't map my neighborhood.
Exactly, but they were doing it way back when. But Antarctica wasn't even really confirmed to have been seen until 1820. Yeah, that blows my mind. It was during a Russian expedition by Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen and Mikhail Lazarev. They saw it for the first time.
Neither of those sound Russian.
No, it doesn't.
They saw the ice wall for the first time?
Yeah, supposedly. And then it was finally confirmed to be a whole continent in the 1840s. But the idea of Antarctica being on an ice wall started to garner attention in the 1840s when a guy named Samuel Botham, is it Rowbotham? I think I misspelled his last name. It's either Rowbotham or Botham. He proposed that the Earth is a flat disk with the North Pole in the center and the edge is Antarctica. And he wrote a book about it. It's called Zetetic Astronomy, Earth Not a Globe. And you can actually get it on Amazon if you wanted. It's got 4.6 stars. It's $20. Yeah. So if you want to read it, you can. But one of the reviews read, quote, "The more a witness is questioned, the more obvious the lies or truth become. Stands to reason, then, that the concepts presented here should either be easily refuted or, as it seems is the overwhelmingly obvious case, they cannot. A great read for anyone looking for tangible written historical proofs against some of the most popular cultural ideologies." End quote. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, I'd like to read this book, but it's very scientific and I feel like it would just be right over my head. Anyways, you can read it if you want, dear listener. But as people started to actually explore Antarctica, they noted that there were these massive coastal ice shelves. And people were like, whoa, that's the edge.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all it takes.
What lies beyond that edge? Short answers. Nobody knows. Anybody who thinks, thinks that the Earth is flat and that there is an ice wall, you ask them, the community is very torn on what lies beyond. Some people think that it is ancient civilizations. The Atlanteans.
Of course.
They might be on the other side, just kind of living their lives, enjoying their advanced technology or whatever. But people who think that it's extra continents and hidden worlds call it extraterra.
Oh.
Which is a fun little word.
Extraterra. It just sounds like it's just...
Yeah.
I don't know. Extra
It's like a sci-fi novel.
That's just a weird...
Extraterra. A romance
Unobtainium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people argue that in these lands there are creatures, like dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. And that makes me think back to like your Godzilla movies. Isn't there a Godzilla movie where they go like underground?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Hollow Earth.
Yeah, Hollow Earth. So some people, and I guess that kind of
tied together.
Yeah, it's tied together, but it's not necessarily the ice wall. It's underneath Antarctica is what some people think. But yeah, beyond that, some people think that it's just the land is endless. They don't think that there is an edge necessarily, but it just keeps going. And there's, extra worlds that have their own suns sometimes. It's crazy, man.
That's on the other side of the wall?
That's what some people think.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I would like to point out that Rowbotham on one occasion was preaching his, ideas. And someone asked him, this happened at like a public lecture. Somebody asked him, well, why do ships disappear on the horizon? Why do you see the hull go away and then the mast slowly go away? And he just ran away.
Yeah. I think that these are really fun ideas to think about, but...
Well, be careful that bad reviews coming.
I know, I'm sorry. It's not something that I don't personally believe it, but that doesn't matter, right? Mm-hmm. Who cares? I think that for me, the thing that throws suspicion on everything Antarctica, and that's really easy to point to, is the fact that it's not easy to go to, and then we've got this treaty, this international treaty, the Antarctic Treaty, that says that You're not allowed to go there unless you have special circumstances. And there are tours. You can pay to go to Antarctica, to go on a tour. But number one, it's expensive. And two, it's challenging to get a permit. You have to get a special permit in order to go. So if you want to go, there are budget trips, very basic, short, that start at $5,000, which I don't think is that much. But if you want to like really go out and have the Antarctic experience, then you're going to pay $60,000 or beyond per person, which is crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah. And some people, part of the reason I wanted to report on this, I saw a video where Mr. Beast was talking about how he went to Antarctica, and people were asking him what he saw there, and like he couldn't really talk about it, and it was just very suspicious and weird. They're asking him questions, and he like gets very awkward on camera. At the end of the day, he's just an awkward man in general, in my opinion. So I don't really read into it too much, but it is intriguing when you ask people what they experienced while they were there. I was reading a lot of accounts, and people were saying they just stepped foot on Antarctica and just started crying because they couldn't believe how beautiful it was. It was just a life-changing event, which I think is really cool, but
I can't imagine having that feeling.
Yeah?
Stepping just about anywhere except for maybe like Mars or something.
Listen, if I took a step off ship and there was an emperor penguin standing next to me, I would get a little emotional.
I mean, I'd be like, "Oh, that's awesome! That's so cool." That's about it.
James, how do you think you would react if you went to Antarctica?
I think it was cool as far as that goes, but yeah, I can't imagine being very emotional about it.
He put his hands on his
new
hips and
theory.
go, "That's a lot of ice."
Exactly. New theory. Emperor penguins are guarding the ice wall because they're the Nephilim.
There you go.
Hashtag teach the controversy.
Well, when it comes to going to Antarctica, it is hard to travel there. And I know that Mr. James is going to be talking a little bit about traveling and airfare and all that stuff. James, you hop on into it.
Yeah, we're actually, this is our first ever joint venture. We're starting a cruise. No.
Yeah.
Although there absolutely are. There are Antarctic cruises, but yeah, I've heard it argued from a lot of proponents of alternate Earth-shaped theories that it's illegal to fly over Antarctica, and that for that reason it's evidence that they're hiding something. Well, the main reason, one, it's not illegal at all, but commercial flights don't generally do it, and there's a good reason for that. It actually makes perfect sense if you think about it. Let's say you're flying a plane and you need to refuel. Well, where are you going to refuel at?
You can't.
Let's say the engines start to freeze because of the harsh climate. What are you going to do? Where are you going to get it cleaned off at? Like, you're just high and dry. It's extremely difficult to fly a plane over it. Like, that's the reason. And it doesn't change. It doesn't help that aircraft nowadays are required to have twin engines. And if you have twin engines, you have to fly within a specified flying time. You're not required to have a twin engine. But if you do, and that's always a good, safe idea, you have a certain flying time that's necessary within a range of an airport. Because if there's engine failure, you can land. And there's nothing to really do that. I think the people who make that argument don't consider how inhospitable the climate is. It's not like going to flipping Florida, The rules are different. You can't just land at an airport and refuel and have your plane repaired. Nobody's coming for you. I even remember there was an occasion where a researcher, more on researchers in a moment, was they were the only person qualified to perform surgeries at their base. And they had to operate sans anesthesia on themselves because there was nobody else who could do it. And in fact, at those bases, they require you, even if you've not had anything wrong, they require you to have your appendix taken out to go there. Because if you get appendicitis, it's a death sentence. There's no infrastructure to fix that. Wow. So that's the biggest reason. And I would also like to point out that planes do fly over the North Pole all the time. Like they have no problem with that because there's a lot more continental areas within range that they can stop and refuel. Now, if you subscribe to the idea that the North Pole is the center of that disk, then I guess you do have a suitable argument. That being said, if that was the case, then why is flying over the North Pole used to shorten rather than lengthen flight times to areas in the Northern Hemisphere? So, yeah, I think that thoroughly provides a good argument against that. But more about these research stations. I think it's just wild how it's divvied up. You pretty much have 7 countries that have claim, which I always thought growing up, I guess because of watching The Thing, that the U.S. was one of them, but we're not. You've got Argentina having a huge chunk of it, Chile, Australia, who is doing a lot of the research. They're really pulling their weight on that. France, New Zealand, Norway, and the UK. And the UK is a lot of that has to do with the Falkland Islands. And I don't know if you guys know about the war in the 80s, that we might get a second one of those at some point, because I keep hearing Las Malvinas son Argentina lately, and it might heat back up. But anyway, what's really cool about these research stations is they study things that are really difficult to do elsewhere. Glaciology, that should be pretty obvious because there are glaciers that are, undisturbed and easy to observe down there. Atmospheric science, geology, but the two that really blow my mind are oceanography and marine biology. Because when I think of Antarctica, I think of emperor penguins and orcas, and that's kind of about it. But there's actually the seabed of Antarctica. It's insane, the biodiversity. There's like 8,200 species that a huge swath of them are only endemic to that area. And that's because pretty much if you think about how unique that environment is, it's going to create kind of an evolutionary pump where there's not going to be things that are similarly adapted anywhere else on Earth. Most of these things tend to be like crustaceans and worms, not the kind of worms that we usually think of, like what are those called? Not tunicates. Well, anyway, there's all sorts of echinoderms like sea stars. There's sea spiders, which are actually related to spiders, which is weird to think about. All sorts of bizarre alien-looking creatures. Another thing that they often study is just space research, which makes a lot of sense because you've got isolation, you've got extreme weather conditions that make it really difficult to go for a walk, you've got prolonged darkness. So it's a great way to study like long duration space conditions. So it's pretty neat. There's 80 bases, and I've been looking at some of them on Google Maps, and I gotta say, everything I've talked about, I've had a very skeptical view of or mainline view of. But one thing that does really weird me out, I've looked at probably a dozen bases. It's weird to me that they all look vastly different in terms of structure, like building materials. You'd think there'd be some uniformity there. Overall size and layout. But the thing that weirds me out the most, some of them, especially the ones actually further down, clear as a bell, like crystal clear image. You can see the roofs clearly. The ones along the coast, and particularly this little peninsula that juts out that's the closest to Argentina, blurry as like a 19. I promise I won't reference video games anymore after this, CC. Like it looks like one of those old Sim Earth kind of games. Like it's so grainy and fake looking that it does kind of concern me, where it's like, are some of these bases fake? Is it just like, are they actually not doing anything? It's just like the street cred of like, yeah, we're doing big things down there.
It is weird. I saw some people say, oh, it's just hard for, Google to get down there. But I'm like, they can map lots of things, but for some reason they can't get Antarctica. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's
why do we have clearer
me.
Pictures of the exterior solar system? That's
exactly.
kind of weird.
Exactly. I don't know. That is one thing that does make me go,
Yeah.
why aren't we showing this? But at the same time, I think that I agree with you when it comes to why travel is restricted in some regards, is because, like, if I were to just sail out there on my own, I would die within a day. Are you kidding me? It's so extreme. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too practical, too optimistic.
Maybe.
Well, my travel tip, if you do want to go to Antarctica, is go in November, December, or January, because, Southern Hemisphere, it is going to be a more tolerable experience, even though it's still flipping cold.
It's going to be cold. Well,
Interesting.
beauty. James, that's nifty. And also, bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we talking about next week, James?
I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, James. Good grief.
You asked me earlier, too.
Yeah, and you
remembered
told
then.
me. You guys, we're talking about radio mysteries.
Oh,
Yeah.
this will be fun.
Yeah, this will be a fun topic. I'm excited for it.
I have a little, a small little thing about the radio. I overheard, my phone died a few days ago, or this is a couple weeks ago, and I was just driving around. I was like, I'll just turn on the radio. I haven't listened to radio in a while.
Yeah?
Guess what I heard?
What'd you hear?
I tuned in. Heard a whole bunch of communists talking about that they need to make the empire fall.
Oh my... How did you get that in your car?
I don't know. It was one of the lower bandwidth stations, and I was like, "What is this?" It's like some communist meeting about
Here you go.
about how America. So there was that death of that, I can't remember her name, but that lady that escaped to Cuba. Do you remember that? It was like within the last few weeks. It was like a big story.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, she was being like praised, and she's like a horrible person. But she got out of prison, went to whatever. It doesn't matter. But they were talking about how great this lady was. She was a bad person, and then they were talking about how the empire and all the capitalist pigs, and they just kept talking about it. It was just so funny. It was very clearly a local thing that I was listening to that was like around here. And I was listening to it. I was like, this is kind of interesting. And these people were very weird.
You guys, tune into your radios. You never know what you'll hear. You'll get to hear us talk about some of the things, some of the odd things that people have heard in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, James, I think it's time for your nugget of wisdom.
My nugget of wisdom in this case, always be within the appropriate distance of an airport if you're flying with a twin-engine aircraft.
Sage advice, James. Well, until next week, we hope that you can keep it straight.